Hey, what's up, everyone? I can't believe it's October already. October 2nd, here we are. This year has flown by so fast, but want to welcome everyone to this impromptu BRAP. I was going to do it, tonight. We typically have our shows Wednesday night. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do tonight's show because due to a scheduling conflict. So I said, what the heck? I have some time right now. I'm going to do a quick BRAP. Discuss a couple things, couple topics, some news regarding Halo Infinite. Starfield Shattered Space is out now, the DLC for Starfield. I'll talk about some of the reviews that I've read online, watched a couple video YouTube reviews of Starfield Shattered Space, and haven't seen anything Metacritic outside of Xbox Era giving it a 9 out of 10. But and then also, look, I want to talk about the ROG Ally X, the handheld that's retailing at. You can either get, there's two versions. There's the 1 gig, the 2 gig storage versions, or there's the 1 gigabyte storage version. There's a 2 gigabyte storage version, and both are retailing at pretty high price points. And I just want to talk about. Again, you just talk about the how the markets are different, or how consumers are different, how products different within the gaming market, and this is just another example of that. So I'm gonna dive into that for a bit here as well. Also have an update regarding Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Shadows. We have an update on that particular delay for that game that I'll talk about here in just a second. But look, also want to give a big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Thank you so much. Otacon Ostlitz in the house. Otacon says, not gonna lie, I hated Starfield prior to the pandemic, but this is a buyout even before PlayStation was getting the games. One Elder Scrolls, I did not like the idea of Starfield from the get-go. Yeah, I was actually looking forward to Starfield Otacon. It didn't meet my expectations. Didn't scratch that sci-fi itch, if you will, that I was hoping it would. I didn't think it was a terrible game. I thought it was a good game. I didn't think it was a terrible game. I didn't think it was a terrible game. I didn't think it was a terrible game. Wasn't, in my opinion, wasn't as his best effort. Wasn't as his best effort. Wasn't as his best effort. The last Fallout 4, the last Fallout 4, and Elder Scrolls Skyrim. And Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Oh, bad echo. Oh, bad echo. Oh, that should be better then. The echo should be gone now. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about the echo. I had something turned on. I had to turn off. Sorry about that. But yeah, do me a favor, everyone. If you could smash the like button, and I'm going to drop a link here in the live chat. Let everyone know we're going live. Retweet the link. Share it on your favorite social media platform. And whatnot. So, all right, want to get into an update on Ubisoft pushing back the Assassin's Creed Shadows game that's coming out next year. This is an article by GameStop, according to GameSpot, and this article by Blair Marnell, and that the developers behind Assassin's Creed Shadows reportedly spent months trying to convince Ubisoft to delay the game. So until last month, I'll read the article here. Assassin's Creed Shadows was slated to be released in November of this year. Ubisoft subsequently made the surprise announcement that the game has been delayed to early next year. But according to a new report, this was far from a surprise to Ubisoft Quebec, the studio behind Shadows. The developers have reportedly been pushing for delay for months. Ubisoft's announcement stated that Shadow's new release date was implemented to give the developers more time to polish the gameplay, and because the company wanted to apply the lessons it learned from Star Wars Outlaws' disappointing rollout. The game has reportedly sold only around 100 million copies thus far. It's not good for a game that has a AAA budget. We'll see if game sales pick up. During Black Friday, things like that, the upcoming holiday season. But Inside Gaming's report states that both of the Inside Gaming reports states that both of those reasons are true, but adds further context by stating Assassin's Creed Shadows is currently not at the stage it needs to be for release. There's still adjustments to be made to fix the remaining bugs. However, the larger issues apparently involved around the desire to shore up the historically accurate aspects of the story. One of the stated reasons for these 11th hour changes is that historical experts were brought onto the project much later than usual for a project of this magnitude. At least one silver lining from Ubisoft's latest moves was the decision to reverse the company's stance about releasing new game consoles on consoles and Steam on day one. That was apparently a frequently requested change for some Ubisoft employees. Again, Assassin's Creed Shadows will hit consoles and PCs again for February 14th, 2025, Valentine's Day. All right, so so it's some additional context here. Again, we're learning now the developers have been pushing for months to try to convince Ubisoft to delay the game. We often in the community complain about games releasing in a bad state. And then sometimes when they get delayed, we complain nonetheless. Anyways, damned if you do, damned if you don't, I guess. But I, for one, am actually okay. I'm glad, if they are bugs, things they need to iron out. If they're bringing in historical experts to shore up some aspects of the game for that they feel is important to portray historical accuracy, that's fine too. I'm okay with that. So look, I mean, anytime a game can cook, let it cook, right? If the developers are asking for it, I'm okay with that. I don't have an issue with the game being delayed. It was a game that I was definitely looking forward to playing, but hey, you know what? I'm okay waiting. I'm okay waiting if it means a better product down the road. And let me know in the comments section below too if you're what your thoughts on the delay are, if you are okay with the developers pushing back and saying, hey, we need more time, or if you're like, you know what, just release it. All right, let me sec here. Let me tweet this out here. All right, so So this came across my Twitter feed today, and this is a report according to Rebs Gaming, YouTube content creator, regarding the canceled Halo Battle Royale that was supposed to come out. It was known as Project Tatanka, and look, I was one of the folks that said like, hey, give us a Halo, Infinite Battle Royale game. Like, I thought it was cool, the idea of dropping from the skies as a Spartan. I thought it was a good idea. I thought it would add a another popular game mode. Whether or not it would have been successful, it's another conversation. But I would have played it, and I would have looked forward to playing a Halo Infinite or Halo Battle Royale game. So it was known as Project Tatanka, and then it was rebranded as Project Eckhart last year, and then eventually canceled later last year as well. So according to Rebs Gaming, there's some additional details here. Some of the key features: integration into Joe Staten's campaign narrative. 343 conducted weekly internal playtests for Tatanka, and I thought this is actually really cool. By the way, this is actually one of the things that when I thought about dropping in as a Spartan, what I was looking forward to. That players began in a loading bay and dropped into the map using ODST drop pods. Now, if you've ever played ODST, that's one of the, I'll never forget when they reviewed ODST. It's one of the things they showed was the ODST troops coming in and those pods dropping from the sky, and you can kind of see like you're in the pod. You can kind of look out. You kind of see yourself dropping from the sky. I always thought that was cool. I always thought that was cool. Like, and so they were going to allow you to drop in the map in the ODST pods, which I thought would have been awesome. The map, according to this report, the map featured fragments of the Zeta Halo ring, each with unique biomes and man cannons for player transportation. There were also supposed to be mini objectives provided to provide rewards such as power items, equipment, and partial shields. Pelicans delivered vehicles, including the Falcon, and Tataka was. And also the rebranded Project Eckhart happened after leadership change. Former developers reported that Tataka Eckhart was canceled in 2023 to prioritize the next Halo game. And so those are the details. And I would have liked, look, I get there. I understand, perhaps they felt like, you know what, maybe it's best to shift resources to the next Halo game. Okay. But as a fan, as somebody who has been a fan of the Halo franchise since its inception, since its release, I should say, on the original Xbox console 23 years ago, I would have really liked to see, me personally, I would have loved to see a Halo Infinite Battle Royale mode. Just dropping from those ODST pods would have just been just a level of nostalgia and just, I think, cool factor there, just dropping in that way. I wonder if that's maybe an idea they shelved temporarily, maybe go back to it. Selfishly speaking, I would like for them to do that. I'd like for them to explore a Battle Royale mode. I think, again, it just adds a different flavor, to Halo Infinite. But clearly they felt otherwise. But yeah, let me know here in the live chat or in the comment section below if you would have liked to play a Halo Infinite Battle Royale mode. Again, something that I would have enjoyed playing. So. All right. I'm sorry. Give me a second here. All right. I think they will bring that aspect into Halo 6. Yeah, that's interesting, Otacon. Like, I don't know. I mean, this report's saying they've canceled a Battle Royale for Halo Infinite. Whether or not they, incorporate that to Halo 6, we'll see. But again, it's something I would like to see. Couple of Game Pass updates here. Microsoft has announced the first set of additions to its Game Pass catalog for October of this month. MLB The Show 24 is headed to Game Pass Standard on console, actually starting today. So that again, this is the standard tier. Actually MLB The Show actually launched into the Ultimate tier back in March. So some good news there. So they're going to also be adding All You Need Is Help, Legends of Mana, Trials of Mana, which we learned about last week. We Love Katamari Reroll plus Royal Revere are the other games that are coming to Game Pass this month as well. I'm sorry. Microsoft's added those games. The games I just mentioned, Microsoft added those. I'm sorry. The other games that are coming, I mentioned MLB The Show, which is coming to Game Pass Standard. Open Roads, which is coming to Game Pass Standard as well. Sifu is coming to Game Pass Ultimate PC, Game Pass, and Game Pass Standard on October 1st. Mad Streets also coming to Game Pass Ultimate PC, Game Pass Standard. There's so many Game Pass, I feel like tears. Inscription coming to Game Pass Ultimate PC, Game Pass, and Game Pass Standard on October 10th. And I have zero interest in any of these games, by the way. But let me know if you have any interest in these games in the comment section below. All right, so I want to go to the ROG Ally X. So this is a device that is releasing on December 9th, 2024. And it's interesting, like Destin Legary of IGN made a comment about the PlayStation 5 Pro. And you've heard me talk about the PS5 Pro on the show quite a bit. I have expressed I've expressed my thoughts on what I perceive to be kind of mental gymnastics about the PlayStation 5 Pro and who it's for. Destin Legary put out a tweet. He said that the PS5 Pro not selling out in seconds is such a different feeling from 2020 when literally no console could be found for like a year. I mean, I don't even know where to begin with that. Give me a sec here. I'm sorry, give me a second here. So that happens when I'm trying to multitask. All right, sorry about that. I'm just trying to do something. I'm multitasking. Because I feel like I need a producer. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, C-Fresh says the Pro really bothers some people. It seems like that. It's kind of interesting. Again, the mental gymnastics. I don't have an issue if someone says, hey, look, the PlayStation 5 Pro isn't for me. You know, that's fair. Or I find the PS5 Pro to be too expensive. That's fair. I mean, again, we've talked about this on this show quite a bit. Consumers have different requirements. And I just don't feel like we have this conversation with other consumer products. Price point, the who asked for this, and this is kind of going to tie into the ROG Ally, which is an expensive handheld device. But I do want to discuss Destin Legary's recent comments about the PlayStation 5 Pro not selling out. He tweeted the PS5 Pro not selling out in seconds is such a different feeling from 2020 when literally no console could be found for like a year. Okay. So I have an issue with that first comment there, Destin. You're forgetting one big thing. COVID. You're also forgetting that this is 2020 was a new launch. It was a new generational launch for consoles. For a base console that has a wider market appeal and demand than a niche device or a high-end device that targets to a smaller consumer base. The PS5 Pro, we know this because the PS4 Pro was only 15% of the console sold, of the install base of the PlayStation 4 console generation. So I'm not sure, Destin, how you are, or why you're comparing the PS5 Pro to base consoles, selling out in seconds. I'm not sure how you. I'm just not sure. Like it's just an odd take. I think it's just a bad take, frankly, because you're forgetting that the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series consoles were new generation launch consoles. That those consoles are going to appeal to a larger consumer base than the mid-gen refreshes have. And 2020, we couldn't find consoles, and consoles were very difficult to find because of COVID, because of impacts to the supply chain. I'm not sure how you forgot about that, but seemingly you did. And he says even the PS4 Pro was hard to get after launch, if I remember right. The PS4 Pro actually wasn't that hard to get. You could still actually get it. I remember getting it at launch. And he says, to be clear, I'm not knocking the PS5 Pro here. I'm just saying it's clear that spending habits have changed. Have they changed? Based on what? I think that conversation should be had after the launch of the PS5 Pro and then comparing the launch of the PS5 Pro to the PS4 Pro. Then we can have those conversations. I just don't know how why you would throw that out there and say that something is clear, or insinuate something has changed without really any comparable data points at this time. Like that just doesn't make any sense to me. I think it's just a bad comment. I just think it just devalues the conversation around gaming, and Destin may not like that, but again, you're not having conversations around tangible data, right? Okay, if you're going to proclaim that spending habits have changed, you're making a definitive statement. Well, how have they changed? Like, what are you basing that off of? Are you basing? Do we know with the PS4, with the PS5 Pro, what the pre-orders are like versus the PS4 Pro? If we had that, then maybe we could have that conversation. I can't think of the last time any new console hasn't sold like hotcakes on day one. Again, the PS4 Pro didn't necessarily sell like hotcakes. And again, you're talking about a device that doesn't appeal to the wider console base. This is a niche product. I would love to get Destin on the show to ask him if he understands the difference in market stratification between products and consumers. And really just kind of ask him, like, you understand that there's a difference between the type of consumer that wants a PS5 Pro versus the type of consumer that just wants a PlayStation 5. I had this conversation with Logic the other day. We were discussing this very tweet, and he's brought up that there's years that the iPhone, whatever iteration of the iPhone, maybe hasn't sold well as the previous iteration. I don't think we have these conversations. He says it makes you wonder if the price or people feeling the squeeze of their wallet right now. I've been seeing a lot of the squeeze of people's wallets. Look, I'm not going to say that inflationary dynamics haven't impacted people, but they haven't impacted all people. And they seemingly haven't necessarily impacted console sales in the way you might have the way some people might have you believe. And I say that because we know that the PlayStation 5 generation, at least, and the PlayStation 5 console, at least in North America, the United States specifically, is outpacing the PlayStation 4 in sales. We also know, per Sony and their investors meeting with Herman Hulse was speaking to investors, that the PlayStation 5 generation has been the most profitable PlayStation generation to date. Now, that is, you take that and you factor in, you take that piece of information there, and you think about the fact that global recessions, inflationary dynamics, as Destin says, people feeling the squeeze on their wallets right now. I'm not so sure that's the case, and that we've necessarily have seen that. I don't think we've necessarily seen that impact, at least with the PlayStation 5 console gen, based on the things that I just said, where Sony's saying, hey, this is the PS5 generation is our most profitable generation of any PlayStation generation to date. So, I mean, I don't know if Destin's aware of those numbers. I don't know. I just don't agree with the commentary. He then goes on to say, because at the end of the day, the PS5 Pro is a cool piece of tech. It just doesn't seem to be as hot as I thought it would be. I mean, I don't know how hot he thought it was going to be. I figured based on previous, what the PS4 Pro did, I thought, okay, this thing is, and to be clear, at least on the PlayStation Direct pre-orders, they have sold out, because I've checked. They've actually, a period during the day, have sold out pre-orders, and then they've allotted or restocked a new allotment of PlayStation 5 Pros to pre-order. But regardless, I thought, based on what the PS4 Pro did, I thought PS5 Pro, again, in similar fashion, would sell to about 15% of the install base. So I would never assign I wouldn't say that, okay, I would think this thing was gonna would sell like hotcakes. Like, I would never say that, because it appeals to a smaller niche of a consumer that wants a high-end console experience. And I understand that those consumers are a smaller part of the addressable market than your general, PlayStation 5 console consumers. He says, I don't think we'll ever get back to PS2, PS3, or even the PS3, PS4 level graphical upgrades again. Yeah, I mean, I know what he's saying here in terms of the graphical upgrades. I know there's been that conversation around diminishing returns, but I do think we will see improvements in terms of lighting, like things like ray tracing. I think that's where we'll see some of the better graphics. We're seeing some of that in some games, but I still think we're some ways off. That particular technology is pretty demanding on hardware. But I will say this, though. What he's talking about is he's, getting away from the boxy type figures that we see in games, or pixelated environments, or baked on environments that we saw in previous generations, and not seeing that. I think, the other improvements may not be graphical per se, but we may see improvements maybe in AI, machine learning, in video games. Maybe that's where we see some of those improvements. But I've seen people try to use graphical upgrades as a way to diminish the reason that the reason why the PS5 Pro should exist. But these people often fail to realize that there is a market out there that wants high performance, to be able to get better graphics, better ray tracing, better frames. We know this. We see this in the PC space all the time. You see NVIDIA releasing cards, AMD releasing cards. Probably NVIDIA is a better example here. You see the demand for like the 4080s and 4090s We're going to see demand for 580, 590 cards again when those cards come out. So there is a demand there. I think he's not recognizing that for some reason. I think it's always this focus on, we're not going to see the big change in graphics from PS2 to PS3. I think we're not going to see. We've gotten to a point now where character the form, right? The way characters look, they're not as boxy. You can see their fingers now. There's more detail to their face. But I think that we'll see improvements in like lighting, ray tracing, things like that will make games look a bit more realistic. And perhaps improvement in AI and things like that. So he said that both myself and friend on Slack were convinced we need to be on at 6 a.m. day one to even have a chance of getting one. But even today, you can still just pre-order the PS5 Pro on the website. If you read this, what do you think? A combination of all those things? No, I think it's real simple, Destin. I think you're doing mental gymnastics here. I think it's very simple. I think it's just, hey, you know what? This product is meant for a small segment of the consumer base, and that's it. It's not going to sell out like the PS5. It's not going to do that. And plus the PS5, when we're talking about supply chain, COVID, that's why you couldn't find those. Very limited fashion. Probably even, I would say it was even harder to find PS5s than PS4s at launch because of the supply chain issue as a result of COVID. So I don't, and sometimes I think these guys just create these narratives just to fuel engagement. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I think the answer is real simple. I think it's just a matter of this particular consumer product only applying to a small segment of the market, and that's it. And that's it. I mean, it's as simple as that. Tier says, "You bit Destin's bait." No, I'm not. I'm not really biting his bait per se. I'm just having a conversation and trying to have a more nuanced conversation about the PlayStation 5 Pro, the market, as we often have here, T. Harris, on this show. Which leads me to the ROG Ally. What we're not seeing around the ROG Ally, and again, it's a handheld. It's a 1080p gaming handheld. They are two, and it's the ROG Ally X 7-inch 120 hertz 1080p gaming handheld. It comes in two different versions. There's one that has 1 gig storage, and that retails at $800, and the 2 gigabyte option retails at $900. So, and these are devices that are releasing on December 9th of this year. Now, again, we're about 2 months away from the release of these devices. Oddly enough, what I'm not seeing is a conversation around who asked for this, who is this for, which begs the question. I'm thinking about whether or not people are actually I do think people are being disingenuous about their conversation over the PS5 Pro, but specifically with the ROG Ally, you're not seeing those conversations. You're not seeing people say who asked for this. You're not seeing people saying this is, this is too expensive. That you're not seeing people saying, oh, this is only a 1080p handheld gaming device. It's not $100. It's going to fail. Who asked for this? People are struggling to put, food on the table. Why is ROG charging this much? It's a cash grab. The reality is that this is just a device, a high-end handheld gaming device for a specific group of consumer that wants to be able to play their games on a handheld device. When I say games, they're PC games, on a handheld device. They want to play Starfield, they can play it on this. You know, and they want to get good performance playing these games on a handheld device. That's who this is for. It's not for everyone. It's certainly not for me. At $800, I'm like, it's a pass. You know, I can certainly understand people's. I understand there's consumers who want that high-end handheld gaming experience. I get that. It's just not for me. But I'm not going to knock it because it's not for me, or I'm not going to, I'm not going to ask the question of, who is this for? Who asked this? Because I'm not going to buy it. It's trash. Again, as a consumer, I recognize that it's not for me, and I just move on my business. I'm not doing the mental gymnastics conversations over the ROG Ally. I'm not doing that. I'm not scrutinizing the price point. I'm not scrutinizing that the 2 terabyte version is about $1,000 or $900. Because again, I understand it's for a segment of the consumer base that wants high-end handheld experience, that places value in that. It's the same thing with the PS5 Pro. People want, all the mental gymnastics. Oh, well, you could just build a PC, Well, no. People may not want to build a PC, spending $700 on a console. They may not want that. They may not want to deal with the troubleshooting. They may just want a plug and play gaming experience on their 65-inch TV. Or there may be some people that say, yeah, you know what? I've been thinking about buying a PC. Maybe I will look at taking that $700 that I was going to use on a PS5 Pro and go PC. But the need to tear down a consumer product because it doesn't meet your requirements is just foolish. Just move on. If it's not for you, move on. We do this with every other consumer product, but for gaming, it's just different. Oh, you know what? Who asked for this? It's a cash grab. Don't buy it. Same thing with the ROG Ally. It's $900. It's going to be expensive for too many people. I'm wondering if we're going to see the same conversations on the ROG Ally. Are we going to have conversations around the pre-order? The pre-orders. We probably won't. Probably won't because it doesn't drive traffic. So I think we just need to be mindful of some of the content creators and pundits out there just looking to drive engagement and not looking to have genuine conversations about the dynamics in the market and how consumers are different. I think those are more valuable conversations to have. I will say this too. I love the form factor of the ROG Ally X. I think it looks great. It's a great looking device. Not for me. I would rather spend $800 on, upgrading my GPU on my PC, or $900. Again, there's 2 SKUs there. The 1 terabyte version is $800. The 2 terabytes $900. I'd rather spend that money, me personally, and upgrade my PC. But I'm not going to question anyone who goes out and buys this handheld device because that is the experience they want. That is who this device is catered to. People who want this high-end handheld gaming experience. That's not everyone. Instagram says, I got the Steam Deck OLED and I barely use it, and I only use it when I travel. I mean, that's kind of been the big thing for me. Like, I actually like the idea of having a gaming handheld device where I can play my games, my Steam catalog of games, like on a Steam Deck. I like that idea. I just know that I won't really use it. I just don't have the time to do it. Mr. Grant with the $5 super chat says over under PS5 Pro 7 million sold by end of the year. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's going to get 7 million by the end of the year. I could be wrong. Yeah, TRS, I don't think Sony is sitting in meetings where they discuss anti-Sony PlayStation hate and how to combat it. I don't think they're having those conversations. I don't know if you're being sarcastic, but if you're not, I don't think they care. My only reason for having conversation around it is because if you listen to the show, I just feel like we need to have better conversations around gaming in general. But yeah, I don't know, Mr. Grimm. I don't think it hit 7 million. I could be wrong. I think 7 million would be a lot. But I'm not so sure that 7 million. They decided to keep things close to the chest. What do you mean by that? Who's they? Yeah, but back to Mr. Grimm. I think 7 million is kind of a lot. I don't. I could be wrong, but I don't think they'll sell 7 million. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I think the Ampere analysts are reporting about. They have predicted PlayStation 5 Pro will probably be around the same install base as the PS4 Pro, which is about fit with the PS4 Pro is about 15% of the install base for PS4, and they're thinking somewhere along the same lines, but maybe slightly less because of they suspect there'll be some soft impact to the sales of PS5 Pro in comparison to the PS4 Pro because of the PS5 Pro's price at $700. All right, so we got Starfield Shattered Space is out. I haven't had a chance to play yet. I don't know if I'm going to go back to Starfield. I played it, beat it. It was okay. There were some cool side missions in there, but it just didn't really scratch that sci-fi itch for me the way Mass Effect did. But no, some of the reviews that I've listened to, YouTube reviews, have been I think fairly positive about the game. There have been, and I read on Reddit, there's been some complaints of performance issues, stuttering. Kind of funny you mentioned the performance issues too, but Greg Miller mentioned that it wasn't anything that he would maybe they're there. He recognized it there, but maybe not necessarily. There enough to impact his experience. I've read that the game looks beautiful, particularly the planet that Shattered Space takes place in. And I know Greg mentioned he would have given it. Greg Miller would have given it an 8 out of 10. Thought it's a great expansion. I've read some other people say, or listened to other folks say that that $30 price point for the DLC is too much. That there's some flaws, but it's mostly enjoyable. That while there's some fresh armor sets, weapons, maybe there's not enough. Map is big. The main quest is about 4 hours long. So I mean, at least with some of the what I've read of people who've played it and just some of the initial impressions or reviews, or some content creators on YouTube, the experience seems kind of in line with what I remember the reviews were for this game. it being a good game, having some performance issues. I did hear some complaints about the dialogue amongst NPCs not being being a bit boring. So, it's yeah. So real quick, T Harris, we're not going to refer to gamers as Xbox refugees. We're not going to. We just don't use that kind of verbiage here. No, it's not November 7th yet, man. Overboard. And right now on the Starfield Shattered Space reviews on Metacritic. Now, this is only based on four. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is based on only 4 reviews. Reviews are still coming in. Xbox Era gave it a 90. They said Starfield's first expansion is an excellent dive into one of the game's key pieces of lore. There are answers to be had and mysteries to be born anew. It's all wrapped up in one of the best looks I've seen in a video game to date. For any fan of the base game, this is a solid 10+ hour adventure you don't want to miss. Again, this is Xbox Era. They also gave Redfall a pretty good review score, despite that game having clear issues. Xbox was really an outlier in the reviews. Gaming Bible said that Shattered Space offers up a good time and shows off just what a great state Starfield is. What a great state Starfield is in after the various post-launch updates. One of the things that I listened to YouTube content creators who reviewed Shattered Space, they did mention that too, about the improved post-launch updates of Starfield. They go on to say it draws players into a thrilling new tale, ending in another enormous moral dilemma. Valrun Kai is an interesting locale to explore, although the atmosphere is far more ghost town than bustling metropolis. The expansion excels in the cosmic horror fueled opening. The sadly fades. Let me read it. The expansion excels in its cosmic horror fueled opening that sadly fades out into something that is far less intense. This expansion, while hardly groundbreaking, reminded me of just why I enjoyed the base game so much in the first place. Only wish this DLC had been a tad bolder in the realization of its vision. So that's Gaming Bible. They gave it an 80. Pure Xbox gave it a 50. Starfield Shattered Space is a big disappointment in almost every way. We love the base game for all of its flaws, and we were willing this to be the big, exciting DLC drop that make us love it all. That would make this is some bad spelling here. Make us bad grammar. That make us all from Pure Xbox. That make us all love it all over again. However, what we got here is very average narrative expansion that fails to add any big choices, upgrades, new enemies, biomes, loot, or anything that could potentially excite or draw in new players. It's buggy, janky, badly acted in places, and there are a myriad of bugs and performance issues to be ironed out. What a missed opportunity. So that is Pure Xbox saying this. The Guardian gave it a 40. They said the problem is very little of what you're asked to do turns out to be any fun. Fetch quests that offer next to no payoff are compounded by annoying travel. You have to make an unappealing choice between the vein-popping frustration of trying to dive across the craggy, impassable, boulder-strewn landscape or giving up and shelping there on foot. And this landscape isn't Skyrim or the Capital Wasteland, with discoveries to be made around every corner. It's a Starfield planet map like any other, with only the odd cave or cookie cutter facility to explore, and it rarely rewards inquisitiveness with anything other than wasted time and the urge to swear. So that's great. These are by far the Pure Xbox and Guardian are the most negative reviews, things that I've read about Starfield Shattered Space so far. And again, this is only on 4 reviews. It currently sits at a 60. I did read, there was another YouTuber, Gaming with Griff, who actually gave Starfield Shattered Space a 6 out of 10 too. Said it was a average game, but again, the Metascore right now stands at 60. Again, very early. This could presumably go up as well, or maybe go down. Let me go to OpenCritic. Yeah, Shatterspace only, or Shatterspace, OpenCritic only has the Xbox era's Starfield review, which they give it a 9 out of 10. So those are some of the reviews that I've come across and some of the reviews I just read on Metacritic. Again, let me know in the comment section below if you're interested in playing, or if you're picking up, or if you're going to play Starfield Shatterspace, or if you're playing it already. Let me know your thoughts. If you agree with some of the what some of the reviewers have said of Shatterfield so far, and if your experience aligns with their perspective as well. If it doesn't, obviously let me know your thoughts on your experience. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to go back to Starfield. I didn't necessarily hate my experience with Starfield. I thought it was a good game. I just don't think it was the best game that Todd Howard and company have put out, in my opinion. I got my pre-order locked in, so they got me. No, I hear you. All right. So as I mentioned earlier, if you're just catching the show live, due to a scheduling conflict, there will be no BRAP tonight. We usually go live Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Man Overboard says Starfield is like No Man's Sky. Over time will get better. I don't like Man Overboard. I don't like making definitive comments like that. I'm not saying that it can't happen, but I just don't like making because No Man's Sky did it. Starfield will. We don't know. Maybe time will tell. But I'm not one to guarantee that in fact will happen. I hope it does. Oh, he says hopefully. Okay, yeah. No, yeah. In that regard, I agree with you, Man Overboard. Hopefully it does get better. And it sounds like there have been some improvements. Again, I haven't played the game since launch, but it sounds like there have been some improvements to the game. And Brian says it's no secret Bethesda leaves a lot of polished work to the modders. I mean, that's true, but Skyrim, I mean, was I thought a better game even at launch than Starfield. But as I was mentioning, again, we're not going to no BRAP tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern time, scheduling conflict. But I will be doing a BRAP on Friday. I think maybe Friday afternoon, 1 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to be doing a BRAP rant. We did a BRAP rant last Friday around the same time. Had a lot of people there for that show. So I'm going to do that again on Friday. But yeah, let me know in the comment section what you think below. In the comment section below what you think about the Starfield Shatter Space reviews, if you're currently playing it, if you agree or disagree with some of the reviews I just rattled off and some of the things that I've read. And let me know about the ROG Ally. If you think this is a handheld device that you'll be picking up, I think it's a good looking device. Certainly not something that's for me. It does come with support Dolby Atmos, 1080p screen, 7-inch screen as well, 120 hertz. I think it's a good looking handheld. I really do. Just not something that I personally see value in, as I don't play a lot of gaming on handheld devices. My preference is to sit in front of a TV or my PC monitor. Although now I primarily play PC on my LG OLED because my PC is actually connected to my OLED as well. So I primarily, if I'm gaming on PC, while I do still play on my monitor, I primarily play it on my 65-inch OLED. So, but look, I know this was impromptu. I didn't put out much warning, so I really do appreciate everyone coming in the live chat, hanging out with me for about an hour or so. And do me a favor, do all that YouTube stuff. Hit the like button, helps people find the channel. Consider subscribing, hit the bell notification so you're alerted when we go live. You can also support the channel by becoming a BRAP VIP member. And again, I'm probably going to do a BRAP rant 1 p.m. I think this Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So keep an eye out for that show as well. So thank you again, everyone. Really appreciate the time. And I will see you all Friday. Again, I think it's going to be 1 p.m. Could be earlier. Latest will be 1, earliest will be 12. But regardless, I will see you back here again on Friday. Enjoy the rest of the day. We'll see you then.